Chosen one, hear me clearly in this moment, for what I am about to declare is not ordinary. It is not something to merely hear with your ears. It is meant to penetrate the depths of your spirit, to awaken what has been dormant for far too long. There has been a stirring inside of you, a subtle vibration that feels like hope and anticipation colliding. You have felt it. That quiet tension in your soul that says something is shifting, something is coming. It is not by chance that you are hearing these words tonight. You have been positioned at the edge of a breakthrough, on the threshold of what was once broken but is now ready to bloom. For seasons you have carried burdens that seemed unbearable. You have walked through valleys where the walls pressed in on every side, and yet you survived. You may have thought that doors were permanently closed. Relationships, irreparable dreams, lost, and opportunities vanished. Yet I tell you, these were not the end. They were the preparation. The soil in which your life was buried, though dark and suffocating, was never meant to stay barren. God has been working quietly, meticulously behind the scenes, restoring what was shattered. What you thought was broken is being transformed into beauty beyond what your eyes can yet see. Even now, in this very season, the chains that held your joy, your peace, your purpose are loosening. The invisible hands of heaven are moving in ways that are subtle yet undeniable. You may notice signs, a sudden clarity in your thoughts, unexpected peace in your heart, doors opening that you never even knocked on. These are not coincidences. They are divine indicators, confirmations that the bloom is near. And you, chosen one, are at the center of this sacred orchestration. But listen closely. This bloom will not arrive without recognition of the preparation it required. You cannot force it, nor can you ignore the work that God has done to prepare you for it. There is a rhythm, a sacred timing, a divine sequence in motion. And as you stay attuned, as you remain faithful, the broken pieces of your past will converge into a tapestry of restoration and glory. Your life, once fractured, will not only heal, it will flourish. Prepare your heart to receive this message fully, for in the moments ahead, clarity will be given. Your understanding will awaken to the invisible workings of God. And as you lean into this prophetic word, know this: the bloom is not merely coming, it is already on its way, guided by the hand of a loving God who sees, knows, and redeems all that you have endured. The hand that has been moving in your life is not distant or indifferent. It is deliberate, precise, and full of purpose. Every delay you endured, every moment of waiting was not neglect. It was orchestration. There is a voice that has been speaking even when you could not hear it. A presence that has been surrounding you even when you felt alone. And a plan that has been unfolding even when your understanding could not catch up. This is the voice of God, the architect of your life. And it is calling forth the bloom that has been hidden in plain sight. You may not have seen the full picture yet. You may have wondered if your struggles were too great, if your pain was too deep, if your setbacks were too permanent. But the truth is that nothing in your life has escaped His notice. Every tear, every sleepless night, every unanswered question has been collected, and from these moments, God is crafting a restoration that is far greater than you can imagine. What seems broken in the present will become the proof of His faithfulness, the evidence of His love, and the foundation of your destiny. This restoration is not accidental, it is divine. There is a sacred intelligence guiding every step, a wisdom beyond human comprehension that ensures nothing is wasted. Even your failures have been part of the preparation. Even your disappointments have been necessary for the strength you now carry. God's hand does not simply repair, it transforms it, elevates it, redeems. And now the season of quiet preparation is giving way to the season of visible manifestation. Pay attention to the subtle confirmations, the gentle nudges in your spirit, the doors that begin to open in ways you could never plan. The people who enter your life at exactly the right moment. These are not coincidences. They are divine signposts guiding you toward the life that has been promised, the bloom that has been prepared. You are being positioned for visibility, for breakthrough, for a testimony that will declare God's faithfulness to the world. And in this moment, a choice is being placed before you. Not a choice of what God can do, but of how you will respond. Will you step fully into faith, trusting the unseen hand that has been moving all along? Will you embrace patience, knowing that timing is sacred? Will you allow your heart to open to the restoration that has been quietly forming in the hidden places of your life? This is the invitation of the divine to align your spirit, your thoughts, and your actions with the work that is already underway, so that the bloom arrives without resistance and with full impact. Rest in this truth. What you are about to witness has been carefully prepared from eternity. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is random. Every moment of your past, every trial endured, has been building toward this revelation. And as you attune yourself to this divine orchestration, you will begin to see what was once invisible now become undeniable. What was once dormant now, springing forth in vibrant life. Now the moment has come to reveal what has been quietly forming beneath the surface. What you once believed was shattered. What you thought could never be restored is being carefully gathered into a new pattern of life purpose and glory. This is not a general promise, it is personal, tailored to the exact contours of your journey. Every setback, every moment of doubt, every tear has been a building block for this season. What appears broken will bloom in ways that will astonish you, ways that will not just heal, but transform. Picture a garden long neglected, its soil cracked and dry, its flowers withered and bent. For years it seemed impossible for anything to grow there again. And yet beneath the hardened earth seeds were waiting seeds planted by God, nourished by unseen rain, warmed by the sunlight that only the heavens provide. These seeds represent every aspect of your life that has been tested, every dream that was deferred, every promise that seemed delayed. The bloom is not random. It is divinely orchestrated, timed with precision, and designed to display the glory of God through your life. You may begin to notice subtle stirrings first, an unexpected encounter that shifts the course of your day, a word spoken in the right season that changes your perspective. Doors opening in ways you never imagined. These are the first sprouts of the bloom. They are gentle, almost imperceptible at first, but they are undeniable once you recognize them. The Spirit is aligning circumstances, people, and resources to converge in your favor. It is a tapestry of divine coordination, and you are the centerpiece of it. But the bloom will not merely be external. It will touch the deepest parts of your spirit. The areas that have been wounded, the places you tried to hide, the corners of your soul that felt forgotten. God is bringing light into them. These broken spaces will become the most radiant parts of your testimony. Where there was doubt, faith will flourish. Where there was fear, courage will rise. Where there was despair, hope will explode like petals opening to the sun. The bloom is a declaration. Your life once restrained is now being released into full expression. You must understand the magnitude of what is being set before you. This is not just restoration, it is elevation. It is the unfolding of potential that even you may not have realized existed. The bloom is evidence of God's favor, proof that every hidden season has been purposeful, and a signal that your story is entering a chapter of unprecedented visibility and impact. People around you will notice the transformation not because of what you do, but because of what God is doing through you. The fragrance of your life will carry a message of hope, restoration, and divine fidelity. Yet, as with all blooms, this revelation requires readiness. There is a rhythm, a sequence, a sacred timing that must be respected. You cannot rush it, nor can you ignore it. The bloom will arrive fully mature at the exact right moment, in a way that will leave no doubt of God's hand. Watch for the signs, the subtle shifts in your relationships, the gentle alignment of opportunities, the clarity that cuts through confusion. These are the indicators that the bloom is approaching, that the restoration is imminent. Prepare yourself emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Stand firm in faith, because what is coming will exceed anything your eyes have seen or your heart has imagined. The broken will bloom, the barren will flourish, and your life will become a living testament to the power of divine restoration. And as you witness this, understand it is not just for you. Your bloom is a signal, a light to others, a prophetic declaration that God restores what was once lost and makes beauty out of brokenness. As the bloom begins to emerge, it is essential to understand not just the event itself, but the divine meaning woven into every step that brought you here. What appears as restoration is in truth a revelation of God's principles at work in your life. Every season of waiting, every hardship endured, every moment of silence was not punishment. It was refinement, shaping you into a vessel capable of receiving the fullness of this restoration. The bloom is the visible manifestation of invisible truths, the evidence of heavenly strategy and divine wisdom. Consider the seasons of your life like the cycles of nature. Winter comes cold and harsh, stripping away leaves and laying the ground bare. At first it seems barren, lifeless, even cruel. But in the stillness of winter, roots are strengthening underground. Life is gathering energy unseen, preparing for the spring that is inevitable. Your past seasons of struggle, your moments of despair, your waiting periods, they were winter. And though it may have felt like nothing was growing, everything was being prepared. Your roots were being nourished, your faith was being tested, and your resilience was being cultivated. Now spring is arriving, and the bloom is your emergence. Every element of this bloom carries symbolic significance. The petals represent your restored joy, soft yet resilient. The stem, strong and upright, symbolizes the faith you have maintained, even when circumstances seemed unyielding. The fragrance, subtle yet pervasive, is the testimony that flows from a life refined by God's presence, a scent that draws others toward hope and divine possibility. This bloom is not only your transformation, it is your spiritual declaration, a living proof that God's timing is perfect and His plans are flawless. You may ask, why was this process so gradual? Why did the bloom not appear immediately after your pain? The answer lies in the principle of readiness. God does not release His fullness into a vessel that is unprepared. He allows seasons of waiting to ensure that when the bloom arrives, it will not only survive, it will thrive. If restoration came too soon, if the bloom appeared prematurely, it could wither under the pressures it is now equipped to withstand. Your preparation has been meticulous, intentional, and sacred. Every trial was a layer of fortification, every challenge a way to strengthen your roots. There is also a deeper spiritual meaning in the very act of blooming. To bloom is to rise, to open, to reveal hidden beauty. Spiritually, this signals a revelation of your purpose. The bloom is the fulfillment of the potential that God planted in you at the beginning of your journey. It is a confirmation that your identity, calling, and destiny are aligned with heaven's design. You were never meant to remain closed off, dormant, or stagnant. You were planted, you were nurtured, and now you are called to rise in fullness, radiance, and strength. Faith has been the water, patience, the sunlight, and obedience, the soil that has enabled this bloom. The lessons you learned in hardship, the humility, perseverance, and endurance are all reflected in the integrity of the bloom itself. Spiritual growth often occurs invisibly, yet its fruits are undeniable. The bloom reminds you that God's work in your life is holistic. It encompasses your spirit, your mind, your emotions, and your actions. Every aspect of you has been cultivated to receive this season. Moreover, this bloom carries a message beyond personal restoration. It is prophetic. Others will witness your bloom and see the power of divine restoration, inspiring faith and hope. Your life becomes a signal that God honors patience, that He redeems the broken, and that His timing is perfect. This is the spiritual depth of your journey. The bloom is not just an endpoint, it is a testimony, a teaching, and a declaration of divine truth. As you reflect on these spiritual meanings, allow your heart to expand in gratitude and awe. Recognize that this bloom is a sign of God's meticulous design, a reminder that no hardship was wasted, no tear unnoticed, and no waiting period meaningless. Everything you endured prepared you for this moment, and in the bloom, all pieces converge. Brokenness transforms into beauty. Pain gives way to purpose, and your life becomes a living canvas of divine glory. As the bloom draws near, you may begin to notice the subtle fingerprints of God's hand in your life. These are not accidents, they are confirmation signs that the restoration and breakthrough are already on their way. Pay close attention, for the Spirit often moves in ways that are quiet, but unmistakable in whispers and nudges that only the attentive heart can perceive. One sign may appear as sudden clarity in your mind. Thoughts that were once clouded with confusion begin to align. Decisions that seemed impossible to make are now illuminated with understanding. The path forward becomes clearer, and you sense a new level of discernment guiding your steps. This is a confirmation that God is orchestrating the bloom, aligning your life with His perfect plan. Another sign is the return of joy in unexpected moments. You may find laughter bubbling up at times when it was long absent, a lightness in your spirit that hints at a deeper restoration taking place. It is as if God is planting seeds of delight in your heart, preparing you to receive the fullness of what is coming. You may also notice doors opening that were previously closed. Opportunities, relationships, or resources that seemed out of reach begin to present themselves naturally. These openings are not coincidences, they are divine alignments, pathways leading you toward the bloom. Each door is a confirmation that your life is being guided by a higher hand, and every opportunity is a reflection of God's favor. A fourth sign is the presence of peace amid uncertainty. Even when challenges remain, your heart carries a quiet assurance that all is unfolding according to God's plan. You may feel a calm that surpasses understanding, a sense that no matter the circumstances, your bloom is inevitable. This peace is a subtle but powerful indicator of divine orchestration. You might also notice encounters or messages that carry deep significance. A word spoken by a friend, a verse that seems to leap off the page, or a situation that aligns perfectly with your prayers. These are confirmations that heaven is actively communicating with you. The Spirit often works through ordinary events to reveal extraordinary truth. Finally, there is the internal awakening of hope and expectancy. Even in moments of waiting, you feel a stirring in your soul, a sense that something significant is approaching. This expectancy is itself a sign that God's promises are moving toward fulfillment. Your heart begins to anticipate the bloom, and that anticipation strengthens your faith and your readiness to receive. These signs, while subtle, are undeniable to the one who is attentive. They are whispers of confirmation, reminders that what seemed distant is now drawing near. Recognize them, embrace them, and let them guide your faith as you move into the season of bloom and restoration. God is speaking, and His voice is being heard in the very fabric of your life. Even as the bloom approaches, be aware that every season of restoration carries unseen challenges. These are not punishments. They are tests refining your faith, your patience, and your resilience. The path to full bloom is not without friction, and God allows certain obstacles to ensure that your heart, mind, and spirit are fully prepared to receive what is coming. One challenge you may face is the persistence of doubt. Old fears and insecurities may resurface, whispering that your breakthrough is too late, that restoration is impossible, or that the past will define the future. Recognize these thoughts for what they are: temporary illusions designed to test your trust. They have no power over the promise God has placed in your life, and every time you refuse to yield to them, your roots grow deeper in faith. Another challenge may come in the form of delays and unexpected detours. Opportunities may seem stalled, or circumstances may shift in ways that feel inconvenient or even discouraging. These detours are not signs of failure. They are part of the divine preparation shaping your timing to match God's perfect plan. Each delay carries a purpose, teaching lessons of patience, endurance, and reliance on His timing rather than your own. You may also encounter opposition from unseen forces. Just as the bloom pushes through soil, your spiritual breakthrough will meet resistance. There may be distractions, misunderstandings, or conflicts designed to shake your confidence. Yet these challenges are temporary, and the very obstacles that attempt to slow you will ultimately highlight the power and beauty of your bloom when it emerges. Another hidden challenge is the temptation to control the outcome. You may feel the urge to force restoration, to manipulate circumstances, or to take matters entirely into your own hands. God's work, however, cannot be rushed or coerced. Surrender is essential. When you release control, you allow divine timing and guidance to unfold naturally, creating a path that is both secure and abundant. Finally, there is the subtle challenge of discouragement from external sources. People may misunderstand your journey, doubt your purpose, or even criticize the path you are walking. Their perspectives are limited. They cannot see the unseen hand of God orchestrating your bloom. Do not allow the opinions or judgments of others to cloud the faith that has carried you this far. Instead, use their doubt as a reminder of the distinct path God has placed before you, a path that is unique and divinely protected. These hidden challenges, while real, are not meant to defeat you. They are meant to strengthen you. Each obstacle you face is a refining fire, a test of patience, and a step toward greater spiritual maturity. Know that as you endure with faith, the bloom that awaits you will be all the more radiant, undeniable, and victorious. As the bloom approaches, it is crucial to align your heart, mind, and spirit with the work that God is already doing. This is a time for intentional preparation, for actively participating in the divine orchestration, rather than waiting passively. God is calling you to take sacred steps, actions of faith that create a pathway for the fullness of restoration to manifest in your life. First, strengthen your spiritual alignment through prayer and meditation. Set aside moments each day to commune deeply with God, not merely asking for your bloom, but listening for His guidance. In these moments, release fear, release doubt, and open your heart fully to receive divine insight. Speak aloud your faith, declare your readiness, and acknowledge that the bloom is already in motion. The act of aligning your spirit with God's will creates a resonance that draws the unseen forces of heaven into your favor. Second, cultivate intentional gratitude. Take stock of the ways God has already moved in your life, even in small, unnoticed moments. Gratitude is a powerful spiritual amplifier. It shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from worry to expectation, and from fear to trust. Write down the blessings, the small victories, the lessons learned from hardship. Let your heart become a garden of thankfulness, where every seed of faith is nurtured and allowed to grow. Third, engage in spiritual discernment and reflection. Observe the people, opportunities, and situations that enter your life. Ask yourself which align with your purpose and which may be distractions. God often provides subtle indicators to guide your choices. Intuition, peace, or even a gentle unease when something is not aligned. Pay attention. Make decisions not based on immediate gain or fear, but on spiritual alignment and divine timing. Fourth, release. Anything that hinders your growth. Identify habits, thoughts, or relationships that block your bloom. Let go of bitterness, resentment, and fear. Forgive, release, and create space for new life. Just as a gardener prunes branches to allow sunlight to reach the flowers, You must clear your heart and mind to allow God's restoration to shine fully. This act of surrender is not weakness, it is sacred empowerment, an acknowledgement that you trust God's hand above your own efforts. Fifth, take actionable steps in your calling. The bloom is not passive, it requires your cooperation. Identify areas where action aligns with divine guidance. Perhaps it is pursuing a dream that has long been delayed, reaching out to heal a relationship, or stepping into a new opportunity with courage. Each intentional step of faith is a catalyst accelerating the arrival of the bloom while demonstrating your readiness to receive it fully. Finally, embrace patience with confidence. Timing is sacred, and God's plans unfold with precision. Avoid comparing your journey with others or forcing the bloom before its appointed season. Trust that every delay, every pause, every period of waiting has a purpose. Your patience is not passive, it is active faith. With every moment of trust, you are reinforcing the roots of your bloom, ensuring that when it arrives, it will be strong, resilient, and enduring. Follow these instructions with devotion and urgency. Your actions, your faith, and your alignment with God's will create a fertile ground for the bloom. Remember, divine preparation requires participation. Stand firmly in faith. Act intentionally, release fully, and trust completely. The bloom is on its way, and your readiness will determine the clarity, beauty, and strength with which it manifests. As you continue to prepare for the bloom, take heart in knowing that you are not walking this path alone. There is a divine shield surrounding you, a spiritual covering that guards your heart, mind, and destiny from harm. Every step you take, every decision made in alignment with God's will, is under the watchful eye of the one who orchestrates all things. You are protected not by chance, but by covenant, a covenant that guarantees your safety in the midst of unseen forces and hidden opposition. Imagine a fortress built of light, impenetrable and radiant, surrounding every aspect of your life. Within this fortress, your spirit is safe from doubt, fear, and the attacks of the enemy. The walls are not merely defensive. They are nurturing, creating a space for your faith to grow, your confidence to deepen, and your bloom to flourish without obstruction. No external circumstance can breach this protection when you remain aligned with God's guidance. Divine protection is also evident in the subtle synchronizations of your life. The people who enter the doors that open and the opportunities that appear are all guided and shielded. God is positioning allies, removing distractions, and aligning circumstances so that you move forward unhindered. Trust that every delay, every obstacle, and every challenge that seems daunting is under divine management, working together to bring about the perfect outcome for your bloom. Beyond protection, there is assurance, a deep inner peace that transcends circumstance. Even when storms arise or the path seems unclear, your heart can rest in the certainty that God's plan is unfolding exactly as it should. You are held guided and defended. Nothing can nullify the destiny that has been prepared for you. This assurance is not passive. It calls you to walk boldly, to move with confidence, and to trust fully, knowing that heaven has your back in ways that are both unseen and undeniable. Take a moment to visualize this protection, a golden light surrounding you, like a sacred shield, hands of divine presence guiding your steps, an invisible canopy keeping every threat at bay. Feel the peace that comes from knowing your life, your dreams, and your purpose are secure. You are not vulnerable. You are not alone. You are covered, upheld, and fortified. As you move forward into the season of bloom, let this protection and assurance anchor your faith. Let it quiet every fear, calm every uncertainty, and remind you that God is actively working behind the scenes. You are safe. You are guided. You are embraced by a power that no force can overcome. Step forward confidently, knowing that the bloom awaiting you is under divine protection and will unfold at the perfect moment. Now envision the moment of full bloom, the transformation that has been quietly forming for so long. This is not merely a return to what was once broken. It is the emergence of something entirely new, stronger, and more radiant than ever before. Your life, once weighed down by struggle, doubt, and delay, will now reflect the power and purpose of divine orchestration. Every layer of your past, every hardship endured, converges into a moment of fulfillment that is unmistakable and undeniable. Emotionally, you will feel a weight lifted, a release of burdens that once seemed permanent. Joy long restrained will flow freely, filling the spaces that fear and disappointment once occupied. Your spirit will experience a new level of freedom, a lightness that comes from knowing that what was broken has been made beautiful. The bloom will awaken gratitude in your heart, a deep recognition of how far you have come, and a profound appreciation for the invisible work that brought you here. Spiritually, your identity will shift. You will no longer define yourself by past limitations, setbacks, or the judgments of others. Instead, you will stand in the fullness of your purpose, anchored in divine truth. The bloom is the visible declaration of your alignment with heaven's plan. It is a testimony that every trial, every season of waiting, every moment of perseverance was not in vain. The very things that once seemed like obstacles are now the roots of your strength, making the bloom resilient, radiant, and enduring. The transformation will extend into every area of your life. Relationships will shift, opportunities will expand, and doors that once seemed permanently closed will swing wide open. You will step into influence, visibility, and favor in ways that feel unprecedented. The bloom carries not just personal restoration, but empowerment, an ability to impact others, inspire hope, and radiate the love and faithfulness of God. Your story becomes a beacon, a living example that what is broken can indeed become magnificent when touched by the hand of the divine. Mentally, clarity will arrive. Confusion and doubt that once clouded your judgment will be replaced with wisdom and discernment. You will recognize the patterns of your past, the lessons hidden in difficulty, and the guidance that directed you even when unseen. Every decision moving forward will carry intentionality and insight, rooted in the understanding that God's timing is perfect and His purposes are flawless. In this season of fulfillment, your heart will overflow with anticipation for what is next. The bloom is not a conclusion, it is a gateway to greater assignments, higher callings, and deeper levels of spiritual intimacy. You will emerge confident, equipped, and ready for the next chapter, knowing that the divine hand that orchestrated this bloom will continue to guide, protect, and elevate you in every season to come. Prepare to embrace this transformation fully. Receive it with open hands and an open heart. Stand in awe at the beauty of what God has done. Allow the bloom to change not only what you see, but who you are. Let it awaken a new level of faith, courage, and purpose that will sustain you for the rest of your journey. Your life is no longer simply surviving. It is flourishing, radiant, and gloriously aligned with destiny. Now take a deep breath and anchor these truths within your spirit. Speak them aloud. Repeat them. Let them settle into your soul. These affirmations are keys, unlocking the fullness of the bloom and solidifying your alignment with God's divine purpose. 1. I am restored, and what was broken is now blooming. 2. I am guided, protected, and empowered by God's hand. Every delay has prepared me for my perfect season of fulfillment. My life is a testimony of divine restoration, purpose, and glory. Feel the weight of these words. Let them sink deep. Let them become your spiritual armor, your daily declaration, and your reminder that the bloom is not in the future, it is already unfolding. And now receive this blessing spoken over you with authority and love. May every seed of hope planted in your life flourish. May every hidden promise rise to light, fully visible and unmistakable. May your path be lined with divine favor, every step guided, every moment filled with clarity, courage, and purpose. May the bloom of restoration bring joy to your heart, strength to your spirit, and testimony to your life that echoes far beyond what you can see. May the invisible forces of heaven move in harmony with your faith, orchestrating circumstances that align perfectly with your destiny. May opposition falter, fear dissolve, and patience be rewarded with the fullness of divine timing. May your heart remain open to receive all that God has prepared. And may your life shine as a beacon of hope, restoration, and extraordinary beauty. Carry this peace into every day. Carry this expectation into every action. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that what was once broken is blooming, and that the hands of God are weaving every detail of your life into a masterpiece of purpose and glory. Repeat your affirmations daily. Stand firm in faith. And as you do, watch the bloom manifest, not slowly, not partially, but fully, in the perfect timing and order ordained by God. The journey may have been long, but the reward is magnificent. You are restored. You are blooming, and your life will never be the same.